Hello and welcome back to our sustainable journey. It's quite the winter wonderland out here. We got snow last night. Well, it's still snowing. You can see everything's kind of covered in snow right now, including the plow that I'm going to need to hook up next. But I wanted to show you what we did with the worms to kind of keep them protected. So last time we talked about the worms and getting a mole that got into one of the CFTs, and so we had to protect them. So what I did was we're using these. So these aren't the ones we're using, but these types of bins. So these are chicken feed bins. So you can see there's chicken feed in there. They're 270 gallons, I think. There we go. They've got lids on them. They seal up. So they're basically 45 inches by 48 inches by 30 inches deep. And I think one CFT fits in 2 of those bins. So we've moved a couple of the CFTs out. What we've done, it's kind of messy, but here's one of them. This is stuff from the bottom. This is our shed, so we don't really have space in here. This is where all the cardboard and paper we collect. We stopped collecting it from customers because we ended up getting too much. But here is one of the worm bins. And apparently I need to seal these better because chicken laid an egg in here that was not planted. That should not be in there. That's gonna be a bad egg because I don't know when they did that. Because we did this over the weekend and today is Wednesday. So the problem with these, and I would never, ever, ever recommend doing it. This is a one-time thing because of the issue with the moles eating our worms. Because I realized that if we take all of the worms out of one of the CFTs, they're just going to move into one of the other CFTs. And so we have to relocate all the CFTs or lock them down somehow. But I don't have the time or the patience to think of a way to seal up a giant worm bin. And I have these. So we're going to start filling them with the worms from the CFTs to kind of protect them. And then I guess what I'll do is I'll do this backwards. I'll harvest, because the worms only live in like the top 6 inches. And so they're not going to get to the bottom of this stuff. Normally what you do is you'd fill something like this and then, every so often add another layer on there and it would slowly build up. And then, but here we're kind of starting at the top and working our way through. Or I guess there's worms intermixed throughout the bin, but they're going to all migrate to the top. So we're going to have to harvest and sift castings from the top layer, right? This is dry because we swept all the stuff that had fallen out of the CFTs. That's what's on top right now. So we'll have to harvest the top layer and slowly work our way back down during this weird transition time. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now, plus random eggs. So this is what we're using. So these came from, I got these last year. the year before for chicken feed. We use them for chicken feed. We use them for pig feed. So that's what those two are. And then I can take the forks with the tractor and move them down to the barn or move them to where the pigs were. So that there's plenty of feed. It's 200, like I said, 270 gallons, I think is what it holds of feed. Probably weighs quite a bit. Maybe 1,000 pounds. I don't know. I'm not good with that stuff. So that way it's a little bit easier and we don't need to pull out the giant gravity wagon every time we need feed. So we can just put that in the barn as we need it. We've had to repossession everything in the barn because we've been filling these things up. So that's kind of where we're at now, is figuring out how to sift these, get them all sealed. I need to obviously seal this one a little bit better. We just kind of tossed a lid on there real quick as we were pulling them out of the barn and the CFTs and making sure that everything was okay with our worms. So that's what we'll be working on this week. But yeah, pretty much the largest worm bin I've ever seen. 270 gallon tote is essentially what this is. And it's going to be a pain to sift. So we'll keep you posted on how we end up solving that little issue. Yeah, here's what they are. They're called it's the lid, but it's Macro Plastics Incorporated. These are actually from a winery that went out of business a few years ago. And they were just sitting in a warehouse, and some guy wanted to get rid of them, and we wanted them because we needed them for feed. And I was thinking originally I got them because I was like, these would be great for worm bins. But then we realized this would be a nightmare for worm bins because you can't sift this. You can't. I mean, they're really well protected, but it's a nightmare to get into the bottom as the worms work their way down, or as you start one of these. So maybe I'll once we sift these down, I'll start a worm bin with these, and we'll see how well that works out for us. So we're sticking in there. We're trying to recover from the little mole incident a couple weeks ago. That's what we've been working on, is cleaning it all up and dealing with the fallout from that. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time. Take care.